The missing persons case of Madalina Cojocari. Many wonder what could have happened to Madalina. Was she killed by her stepfather or by her own mother? Was she sold to traffickers to make up for lost wages? Was Christopher trying to get back at Diana for wanting to leave him? Or was Diana tied up in a religious cult where Madalina was sacrificed for awakening?
It's been 6 months since Madalina Cojocari, then 11 years old, disappeared from Cornelius, North Carolina. More than 3 weeks passed from when Madalina was last seen on November 21st and when her mother reported her missing. Police, with help from the State Bureau of Investigation and the FBI, continue to search for Madalina.
I want to talk about Madalina's parents for a minute. I want to give you some background about them, how they met, and where we stand today.
Her mother, Diana Cojocari, comes from a family of musicians in Moldova, which is an Eastern European country between Romania and Ukraine. Moldova is one of the poorest European countries, but it has a very rich culture. The untouched countrysides and wineries are remarkable. In Moldovan culture, women are said to value traditional family life. They often marry young and care for the children and domestic duties.
However, divorce is not accepted in Moldova, and it's not uncommon for husbands to abandon their families and leave their wives to fend for themselves and their children in a very poverty-stricken economy. This is exactly what happened to Diana, whose husband abandoned her and Madalina in 2014 when Madalina was just 3 years old.
Diana was working as an English translator and wanted better for her and her daughter, so she joined an international dating website in hopes of finding a husband. Many people believe the site that she joined was one of the many Moldavian mail-order bride type sites.
These sites make it easy for American men who are searching for love to find a wife, just as Christopher Police did.
Christopher Police is a Michigan native. After college, he became a successful designer at an engineering firm. His job led him to North Carolina, where he purchased a home in Cornelius, a town near Charlotte, North Carolina. In 2014, he too joined an international dating site and connected with Diana Cojocari.
There is a significant age difference between the two of 37 years, but they were said to have fallen in love and started a long-distance relationship. Just a few months later, they were engaged without ever even meeting in person.
In 2015, Diana and Madalina made the journey to the United States. They were on a K-1 visa, which basically means Diana and Christopher had to be married within 3 months in order for them to stay in the United States. Diana was excited to start a new life for her and Madalina. Christopher had bought a $400,000 home for them all to live in as a family.
Can you imagine the drastic change for Diana and Madalina, considering where they had just came from in the poverty-stricken country of Moldova?
Neighbors in the community have stated that in the 7 years the family lived in the neighborhood, they rarely saw Diana outside of the home by herself. They stated that Christopher was always the one that was with Madalina playing outside. It was also said that Christopher was always the one who took Madalina trick-or-treating, and Diana would stay home.
Diana, Christopher, and Madalina often went to a particular diner together a few times a week, and the staff there stated that they seemed like a normal, happy family.
In 2020, Christopher lost his job at the engineering firm and started up his own business, building resin plaques for businesses. This was a significant change in income, but the business was picking up, and there was no sign of financial struggle from the outside. There were some major differences that arose between Diana and Christopher over the years. It is said that about 90% of people from Moldova are Orthodox Christians, but Diana had chose a different path by becoming a follower of Kundalini.
This religion places emphasis on spiritual awakening, enlightenment through intense personal experiences, and specific advanced yoga practices.
She dedicated herself to the founder of the Kundalini Yoga. This was a guru named Yogi Bhajan, and even supported him after he was discovered to be a fraud and alleged predator.
His teachings emphasized violence and trauma as a way to trigger this awakening, as if it needed to be the ultimate sacrifice to reach the enlightenment you desire.
If you do not provide the circumstances and the arrangements, it is impossible.
Diana shared these preachings on her social media, while Christopher shared Christian and pro-gun posts. They clashed and did not share the same beliefs, which is one of the reasons arguments started between the two.
If you missed my video about Madalina back in February, 12-year-old Madalina Cojocari has not been seen since November 21st, 2022, when video showed her getting off her school bus at her home in Cornelius, North Carolina.
The school bus surveillance video is the last confirmed time Madalina was seen.
Her parents did not report her missing until about 3 weeks after she was last seen. Madalina's mother and stepfather are currently in jail for failure to report the disappearance of a child.
The search for Madalina continues, with the Cornelius Police Department, the FBI, and the SBI involved in the investigation. Madalina's mother, Diana Cojocari, 38 years old, and stepfather, Christopher Police, 60 years old, have been in jail since December 17th.
There has been no indication that Madalina's parents have cooperated with police in the search for their daughter.
It has been 8 months since Madalina was last seen getting off her school bus on November 21st, 2022. Madalina should be getting ready to enjoy the warm summer months of being at the beach and swimming, the Cornelius Police Department said on Twitter. The department shared a video compilation of Madalina playing on the beach and in the pool. Her 12th birthday was on April 11th.
Police have been fairly tight-lipped about their search for Madalina, saying they do not want to hurt their investigation. But some information has been made public in search warrants and other court findings.
The search has taken investigators across state lines, found connections with drug smugglers, and raised numerous questions about what was happening at the home in a downtown Cornelius subdivision. Madalina's mother reported the girl missing December 15th, telling school officials she had not seen her daughter since November 23rd. Diana went to the school after a guidance counselor went to the family home to ask why Madalina had not been in class for weeks. No one answered the door for the guidance counselor, but Diana Cojocari went to the school 3 days later and reported Madalina missing.
Search warrants released in March show that Diana Cojocari asked a relative to get her and her daughter away from Police. Were they trying to get back to her family in Moldova?
In a February search of Diana Cojocari's car, investigators found 3 passports, one from Romania for the mother, and Romanian and Moldovan passports for Madalina, according to the search warrant. There were also education and work documents in the car.
The records show that police talked to a relative who said Diana and her mother asked if he would assist Diana in smuggling her and Madalina away from the residence.
The warrant said the man stated that she had told him she was in a bad relationship with the co-defendant, Christopher Police, and wanted a divorce. Diana Cojocari had a long phone call with the same relative on December 2nd. This was after Madalina was last seen, but before she was reported missing.
The warrant stated there was multiple calls to phone numbers belonging to unidentified targets involved in an ongoing drug trafficking investigation.
Diana Cojocari said that she and her husband, Christopher Police, argued that night, and the next morning he drove to his family's house in Michigan to recover some items.
Diana said that she looked in on Madalina at about 11:30 a.m. on November 24th, but she wasn't in her room. She said that some clothes and a backpack were missing, and she still did nothing.
Diana Cojocari said that she waited for her husband to return home from Michigan on November 26th before asking if he knew where Madalina was. Christopher Police did not know where she was and asked Diana the same question in return.
Detectives asked Diana why she waited to report Madalina missing, and she stated that she was worried that it might cause conflict between her and Christopher.
Investigators said Diana Cojocari told them her family in Moldova told her to call the police, but she did not. The warrants say Paul Miner told officers he had not seen Madalina for a week before he went to Michigan in late November.
Why will this precious baby girl's mother not speak out and do anything that she can to save her baby? Is this the act that's going to lead to the spiritual awakening she desires? I hope and pray there's a miracle in the works for Madalina.
Court records show the next court date for Paul Miner and Madalina Cojocari is set for August 17th, 2023. Both maintain that they do not know what happened to Madalina. Cornelius Police are asking anyone with information on Madalina's disappearance to give detectives a call at 704-892-7773 or submit a tip anonymously at TIPS.FBI.GOV.
Thanks so much for watching my video. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Here's another video to check out in case you missed it, and here's a playlist of all my videos.